A man in upstate New York paid $40 for a dusty wooden crate at an estate sale last spring. Inside, under coiled extension cords and a coffee can full of bent nails, sat a single hand plane with a corroded body and a chipped wooden tote. He listed it once on the right forum with the right 4 photographs. A collector in Pennsylvania paid him $1,850 for it 9 days later. The family that ran the sale had priced the entire crate to clear. This is not a coincidence. The most valuable hand tools sitting in American attics right now are specifically the ones that look like the junk people are paying haulers to take away. They are dark, oxidized, heavy, often missing a knob or a wedge, and they read as obsolete to anyone whose mental picture of a tool is a lithium-ion drill from a big box store. The people who inherit them think they have a problem to clear out. The people who know what they are looking at think they have a window that is closing, and the wrong people learn about that gap too late. The real question is not what these tools are worth. The real question is why they keep getting valued at zero, and who is quietly on the other side of that mistake. Most people apply 3 filters when they sort through an attic. Does it still work? Is it a name they recognize? Does it look clean and complete? Those filters seem logical. They are exactly wrong. A spotless, chromed, late production tool with a familiar logo from the 70s or 80s is usually worth less than the shipping. A dark, pitted, ugly plane with a worn decal and a cracked rear handle from the same brand made 40 years earlier can clear 4 figures. The clean one is a consumer item. The ugly one is a documented industrial object from a production window that was never repeated. That is the real driver of price, and it is the part casual sellers do not know exists. American hand tools made roughly between the 1880s and the late 1940s were produced to a specification that the same companies later abandoned. Cast iron bodies were thicker. Steel was forged, not stamped. Rosewood, beech, and applewood were used where later runs used stained hardwood or plastic. Brass fittings were solid. Tolerances on machinist tools were held to standards that required workers who do not exist in the supply chain anymore. The materials, the country, the heat treatment, the finish, all of it lined up in a narrow window, and when that window closed, it did not reopen. Then came the turn. Through the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, almost every storied American tool brand was absorbed, merged, or sold to a conglomerate. Diston was acquired by H.K. Porter in 1955. North Brothers, the maker of the Yankee line, was bought by Stanley in 1946. Plum was rolled into the True Temper family. Lufkin passed through Cooper Industries. Production moved off the original factory floors. Some of it moved overseas. Specifications were quietly thinned. The name on the tool did not change. The factory changed, the country changed, the specification changed. A 1930 hand plane and a 1985 hand plane can wear the same logo and be 2 completely different objects. Collectors know these cutoff dates the way a wine buyer knows a bad vintage. They can tell you which year a medallion changed, which year a casting got thinner, which year a particular brass cap was dropped. Ordinary sellers do not even know this conversation is happening. That gap is not accidental. It is structural. The whole arbitrage in old hand tools runs on it. Here's what is actually worth pulling out of the attic, and what to look for on each one. First, pre-war Stanley bench planes, especially the Bedrock series. Look at the underside of the frog seat. If it is flat across the full width of the casting, you are looking at a Bedrock, not a standard Bailey, and that detail alone moves the price several times over. Type studies for these planes, kept by collectors for decades, track the exact year ranges. Early 20th century examples in honest, unrestored condition routinely clear 3 figures, and the larger joiner sizes clear 4. Second, Henry Diston and Sons handsaws made before the company changed hands in 1955. Pull the handle and look at the brass medallion. The wording on that medallion, the eagle, the address, the number of screws holding the handle, all of these date the saw. A pre-1928 D8 or a clean D12 with the original apple or beech handle and a usable plate is not a piece of scrap steel. It is a collectible. Third, Stanley combination planes, the 45 and the 55. They look like alien hardware, with multiple fences, depth stops, and a coffin-shaped wooden box full of cutters. If the box is present, if the cutters are present, if the original instruction sheet is folded inside, the value of the whole set jumps sharply. Sellers who break the box up and sell parts on separate listings leave most of the money on the table. Fourth, star at machinist tools. Micrometers, combination squares, surface gauges, dial indicators. Look for the early script logo and the older serial ranges. American-made examples from the first half of the 20th century, in original wooden cases lined with green felt, are still working tools and serious collectibles at the same time. The case matters as much as the tool. Fifth, egg beater hand drills, particularly Miller's Falls No. 2 and No. 5, and Goodell Pratt drills with the original decals intact. The decal is the giveaway. A faded but readable decal on a drill that has been left alone is worth a multiple of the same drill that has been sanded, repainted, or wire-wheeled by a well-meaning previous owner. Sixth, North Brothers Yankee push drills and ratcheting screwdrivers. The early Philadelphia-marked examples before the Stanley acquisition are the ones collectors hunt. Look at the chuck markings and the script on the handle ferrule. A set of original bits, stored in the hollow handle, doubles the appeal. Seventh, vintage American axes from Plum, Kelly Perfect, True Temper Kelly, Collins, and Mann. Look at the stamp on the cheek of the head. Pre-war Plum stamps and the older Kelly Perfect markings are the ones that move. The head shape, the weight, the original hang on a straight, slim, octagonal handle, all of it matters. A reground, repainted axe head on a modern handle is firewood. An original, gently used head with a worn but unmolested handle is a collectible. Eighth, wooden levels with brass bindings and rosewood stocks, made by Stanley, Stratton Brothers, Davis, and the Stratton pattern makers. Brass plates with maker stamps, original glass vials, intact tips. These were the precision instruments of their day. They sit in attics looking like decorative junk and sell quietly into collections. Ninth, boxwood and ivory folding rules from Stanley, Lufkin, and Stevens. The articulated joints and the printed scales date them precisely. Architectural rules and slide rules with calipers built into one end are a separate category, and a clean one is rarely under 3 figures. 10th, hand braces and the auger bits that go with them, particularly the higher sweep models with rosewood heads and lignum vitae handles, and original auger bits stamped Russell Jennings or Irwin in the early script. A complete 3-tier wooden box of Russell Jennings bits, with the bits in their original sleeves and the cardboard labels intact, is one of the most reliable finds in this whole category. Sellers who photograph the closed box without opening it are leaving money on the table. This is where sellers lose the most. It is not that they pick the wrong tool. It is what they do to the right tool before they sell it. They clean it, they polish it, they sand the handle, they oil the wood, they spray the casting, they buff the brass, they wire brush the head. They make it pretty for the listing, and in doing that, they destroy almost everything a collector is paying for. The collector is not buying it to use. The collector is buying it as a documented object. The patina is information. The original surface with its honest wear is the evidence of authenticity. A restored tool is a story that cannot be verified. An untouched tool is a record. The other thing that doubles prices is paperwork and packaging. The original cardboard box, the instruction sheet, the parts diagram, the original receipt tucked into a drawer, the dealer tag still tied to the handle. Most sellers do not know to look for the box in the cabinet above the shelf where the tool was kept. That box alone can be worth more than the tool inside it. Knowledgeable sellers do not list these on a local marketplace. They do not drop them at a consignment shop. They photograph the maker's mark, the country of origin, the model number, the configuration of the cutter, the texture of the casting. They post on the dedicated old tools lists, the hand tool forums, the auction threads where collectors actually watch. They ask before they price. The same object, described accurately in the right place, finds the right buyer. A sloppy listing finds a reseller. This is the part the rest of the market depends on. Mispricing is not a market failure that insiders want to fix. It is the condition the whole arbitrage runs on. Informed buyers show up at the first hour of estate sales and yard sales, sort through the boxes while the labels are still being written, and walk out with the casting they already recognized from the photograph in the online ad the night before. That is the market. So before anything else, do this. Turn the tool over and photograph the maker's mark, the casting numbers, the medallion, the stamp on the cheek of the head. Find the model number. Check the giveaway detail, the flat frog seat, the script on the medallion, the configuration of the chuck. Search the exact model number in the sold listings on eBay, not the active listings. Active listings show what sellers are asking. Sold listings show what buyers actually paid. Do not lot a valuable tool with junk. Do not let an appraiser write a mixed box as a single lot, and do not clean it. There is also a quick test for who you are dealing with. A real collector will answer a question about the production date or the type within minutes. A reseller who wants to buy cheap will tell you it is hard to say, probably not the valuable version, and offer to take it off your hands. That answer is the tell. It is the same answer every time. The tool did not lose its value when it stopped being used. It lost its value when it moved from the hands of someone who knew what it was into the hands of someone who did not. The people making money on this are counting on you not to think to ask.